Hello guys, just a short personal review of the Cessna Turbo Centurion 2 by Cerenado. Is the plane worth the price? And let me answer this right away. From my point of view, I would say absolutely not. But let's go right into it, and I want to start with the things that I actually like about this plane. As you might expect from Cerenado, the overall look of the plane is nice. And I'm not going to talk about the seats because Cerenado knows how to do seats, and it would be probably easy to do a cinematic video to make this plane look fabulous. But that's not the purpose of this video. I'm going to go outside, and the textures look good, nothing overwhelming, but they look good. Alright, one thing I do like about this plane is the fact that it seems to be relatively frames per second friendly. Alright, so it won't kill your performance, and I have a normal PC, and anything above 30 or above 40 frames in X-Plane 11 is good, as you might know. Alright, what else? Those lights here are nice. And what I do like about the plane is the selection of instruments. That's actually the reason why I bought this plane. It leaves nothing out. So if you look here, you have this clear speed tape. Everything is sharp and clear. The VSI, you can read your altitude. You can clearly read your QNH. Let me just set this for a second. Sorry. Alright, and I like to have the separate light slope indicator and the clear course deviation instrument. That's something I like, and as well as having a DME indicator. There are a lot of planes without DME indicator, and I like to have this in the plane. Then it has the two Garmins, and I like this combination. The smaller and the bigger one, because you can use the lower one for vertical navigation if you so desire, and the upper one for your flight plan, your map, your situational awareness, and so on. Then the Autopilot is basically good. I like this much more than the S-Tech Autopilot, and the default Cessna from X-Plane. And it has good functionality, and you can tune in a NDB, so you have your ADF, which is cool. So nothing is left out, and if you go down here, you have your trim elevator, your rudder trim, all with clear indications. So the set of instruments is pretty perfect. All right. No, but I want to be honest with you and talk about the things that I dislike. And I'm afraid there are quite a lot. So let's get right into it. Let's go down here. If I use the parking brake, there's no sound attached to it. That's a bit of a pity. If I open the door, there's a nice sound, but there is no sound if I open or close the window. No click sound. You wouldn't see something like that in an arabesque plane. Alright. On the other hand, there are awful sounds, awful click sounds. And all buttons seem to have the same awful click sound. Some buttons click, others don't. I don't understand this. Now these might be all minor issues, but if I go down here and use the toe brakes, they are not even animated. So they actually work, but there's no movement to be seen here. And for the price of more than 30 bucks, more than half of X-Plane itself, I think that's the least you can expect. Then why can I not turn off the DME indicator? It says off here, but I can't put the switch to off. Would have been easy to program. Okay, let's go into some major issues. there's actually a click zone missing. So I cannot click this button. They forgot a click zone. And I consider this button to be quite important. Now, of course, I could report this to Cerenado, but to be honest, I expect that a product is tested before release, not afterwards. And if you put love into a plane, that means that you will actually fly it. And if you fly it, you will notice something like this right away. It seems to be done all quite quickly without the love for the detail. So I think that is not okay for a plane that's supposed to have payware quality. Alright, of course I created a shortcut to deal with this problem, and talking about shortcuts, the shortcut to change the selected altitude works properly only downwards. If I press it once to move it up, it's buggy, it doesn't work. I have to press and hold it for a long time. Don't know what's going on here. It's not fun to press the shortcut. Doesn't work properly. Alright. What else? One thing that I really dislike is the fact that those instruments are not modeled in 3D. Neither the Garmin devices. So it's simply a screenshot or a photo or painted in paint or whatever, and then added some click zones. That is something I find unacceptable, and also something that I can't understand, since you will find those instruments in a lot of planes from Cerenado. So why not go and take one of these instruments and model it for once and for real, so that it looks good, and then you can just put one of the same instrument in each and every plane, and it will just look perfect. It's something I can't understand. So if you look at the Autopilot, the buttons are modeled here, but not here. It's fake 3D. That's really not okay. There has been put no love in these instruments. It's just a picture with click zones. Alright, now this radio panel is actually modeled in 3D, but the textures are really from a different century. So it would be about time. Would be time to overdo the textures, at least from my point of view. All right. One last personal thing. I don't like the camera to leave the plane. That's just a personal preference. If you jump into the default Cessna from X-Plane, of course, this will not happen because it's not realistic. Alright, but let's go and get into the air. By the way, the flap sound is nice. Let's go and take off and try out the Autopilot real quick. Alright. I have to concentrate for a second because I still have to get used to the plane. Alright, and there's a beautiful sound when I retract the landing gear. Just wonderful. That occurs if you retract the landing gear before the flaps. Alright, let's just try to trim out the plane. It's not too easy. And let's try out the Autopilot real quick. So if you engage the Autopilot, you will get roll and pitch hold by default. I like that. Pitch hold means it just holds the pitch angle, and you can actually use those buttons, well, at least this one, because I can click this one, to adjust the pitch angle. So if I click on down, it will pitch down accordingly. That works just fine. Roll hold in this case means that it will keep the wings level, alright? Okay, now you can arm the selected altitude. That is cool, so it will now level off at this altitude, and you can disarm it again if you so desire. That's cool. You can go to vertical speed. That works. Now it just has this vertical speed. That's cool. You can adjust this using these buttons. So, well, I have to use the shortcut, but that works. That's cool. You could press and hold altitude hold to hold the altitude. Works just fine. You can fly a back course. You can use the approach button and, for example, fly an ILS approach, including localizer and glide slope. That works just fine. And you can use the nav button to fly on a VOR radial or a localizer or GPS. That works. Of course, you can go to heading select. Works as well. If you click on this button, it changes to feet per minute. That's cool. Wait a second. Alright. Alright, that works. You have a flight director, which comes in nicely, and a yaw damper, so that's all fine. Let's just wait a second until the plane levels off and use the time to look around one last time. Okay. Maybe a shot from the outside. Alright, we have just... Oh, I disarmed the altitude. Alright, that's no problem. I'll arm it and now we'll level off. So that works just fine, that's cool. Now let's wait until the plane is stabilized and disengage the autopilot for a second, because I want to show you one issue. See that the flight director is still engaged, but I cannot pre-select a mode with the flight director engaged. That's a bit of a pity. That should be possible, I suppose. I'm not 100% sure, but why would you be able to pre-engage the flight director if you can not pre-select any mode? That's a bit of a pity. Alright, let's turn this on again and hold the altitude for a second and go back to heading select. Now, one thing that I do miss is the possibility to use the control wheel steering function. So normally I can press and hold the control wheel steering button in order to temporarily bypass the autopilot, but that doesn't work, and that's really a pity. If I press and hold the control wheel steering button, the autopilot is in fact disengaged. Well, I would have expected more, to be honest. So I'm not saying that the plane is not worth buying and not worth flying. What I'm saying is that I think, from my point of view, it is not worth the price. For the price of more than 30 bucks, I expect more, and I will get more if I, let's say, buy a plane from V-Flight. I will simply get more. I will have those instruments be with love. Be modeled in 3D, and yeah, I'm a bit disappointed. Alright, thanks for watching and goodbye.